Like my story?
No, not your story, a story. Since you can't keep your mouth shut long enough for me to read my paper, tell me a story.
I don't think I know any stories.
You don't know any stories?
No.
All right, I'll tell you a story. This is a newspaper, right? It's 90% bullshit, but it's entertaining. That's why I read it, because it entertains me. You won't let me read it, so you entertain me with your bullshit. Tell me a story right now. Go.
What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition of Sports TV. I'm always your host, Edwin, where the wall fights start.
Round one.
Let's get it. Let's get it. I hope you guys hear me loud and clear. Let me check this out. I've been working on this. Hopefully, fingers crossed,
Wait, tell me.
everything's working good.
It entertains me. You won't.
What's up, fight fans? We are. Why can't I hear anything? Now I can't hear anything. Where the wall fights start. Fuck.
Round one.
Let's get it. Let's get it. I hope you guys hear me. All right, let me see. Check this out. I've been working. Does that turn it up? Hopefully. Hold up. Fingers crossed. Why can't I hear anything? Now I can't hear anything. Sounds low. All right. All right, let me see. Does that turn it up? If I turn the mic up too much. Hold up. All right, hold on, guys. Let's see this. Hold on. Sounds low. Sounds low. I what am I doing wrong? All right, hold on, guys. Let's see this. Hold on. I don't understand. Low. All right. Sounds low. Sounds low, huh? What about now? What am I doing wrong? All right, hold on. Okay. What's low here? I don't understand. All right. All right. Perfect. Yes, you good? I'm good. I'm good right there. Sounds low, huh? What about now? All right, hold on. Good? Okay. Word. What's low here? All right. All right. Perfect. Yes, you good? More good. Damage control I'm today. Right more damage control. We gonna talk about that. We gonna talk about it. Stop it. Listen. There has been a lot of crime. Puerto Rico down bad. We down bad. We down bad, and it hurts. It hurts. But, you know, on to a new day. On to a new day. You know, the good thing about boxing, if your fighter is still fairly young or in the beginning of his career and so forth, right? At least, you know, you're gonna be able to get like a chance to see them, you know, overcome. You know, not all the time, I understand. As I think about this, does every fighter come back from a loss the same way? No. Some fighters suffer their first loss and they're just not the same. George Camboza, he got his biggest win off Tio, and ever since then, tell me, has the man been the same? No. So no sooner that I was gonna say we get to see them, it's up to the fighter how they perform. But I tell you one thing, I do believe in Xander. I do believe in Xander. I haven't turned my back on him. He did good. He did all right. We thought that he was in over his head. We knew that there was levels to this. Jaron Boots Ennis taught Xander a valuable lesson in boxing. The fight was competitive, though. It was. Um, Xander even arguably won the fourth round too, as well as the third. Um, the unofficial scorecard had gave it to Jaron Boots Ennis, but I went back and I watched that fight. The second knockdown when Xander got knocked down the second time, his legs were really gone then, huh? The first time, I think he got shocked and got like that shock stiff leg syndrome, but he was still moving. He was still moving. It wasn't like he was like AJ bad in the first round. No, he was AJ bad in the second knockdown. Yeah, yeah. His legs were like bad then. But Xander did pretty good. He did pretty good. Um, he didn't, you gotta take for the action that it lived, the 7 rounds, the action, that's more than midway through a fight. You got past the midway point in a fight, and they gave you that much action in 7 rounds, that 24 actions in the Karen fight. Can we all agree to that? So it was a different fought fight. You understand? And Xander, he came up short. Saran Boots Ennis actually proved a lot to me in this fight. He proved to me the power is real. That Lima knockout was no fluke. Nah, he starched him. He has power at 154. You understand? So I'm no more on the line whether or not, because you see now, you know, we got answers to our question. Now you can definitely say, yeah, okay, um, uh, uh, Jerron Boots Ennis is him. Now, to go as far as calling him a phenom, now that's up to you. What are your standards to what a phenom supposed to look like? If he checks out all the boxes, the eye test, the skill test, if he checks that all out for you, well, then I guess he's your phenom, right? I mean, who am I to tell you who, boom, right? But, as far as Jerron Boots Ennis, right? And Xander Zayas, after they fight, Jerron, Boot, Jerron Boots Ennis became and the new, say it with me, and the new. All right? So his opponents, where, like, who comes to mind? And from what I'm hearing, Virgil Ortiz obviously had a lot to say on social media, but I'm hearing now that, in fact, Sebastian Fundora and Jerron Boots and his team is in negotiation. So now Virgil Ortiz, he might have to wait in line. Raise Sebastian Fundora's hand, Virgil Ortiz. You know what I'm saying? Because it looks like you might be on the outside looking in. Virgil, you had the fight. If you wanted to fight the man, he was right there. Y'all could have made it happen. 7 mil, Virgil? Really? You're worth 7 mil. You thought no belt, never became a world champion, and you allowed your lawyer to talk you up to saying what? Virgil, have you ever sold $7 million in your career in a fight by yourself? So if you couldn't do it, what were you betting on? Jerron Boots Ennis' star status to bring you $7 million? Is that what you were banking on? I don't know what your angle was, but I tell you what, right now, Virgil, you might just be on the outside looking in. And once again, Virgil will have an scapegoat. Look, they're not fighting me. They're avoiding me. No, you were given your opportunity time and time again, You never pulled the trigger. And then you always hit social media and you run around with this sad story. They're ducking me. I want to make the fight happen. But what happens every single time we get to that point in Virgil Ortiz's career? Miraculously, we can't get it done. What the hell? You didn't get it done with Terrence Crawford. You didn't get it done with Sebastian Fundora at one point in time. You didn't get it done with Xander. Didn't get it done with Jerron Boots Ennis. You're not getting it done with all the top guys. You fought everybody's leftovers. After Sebastian Fundora did that to Lubin, you went and knocked him out. After Terrence Crawford did that to that dude, you went and fought him. You waited until everybody fought them, exposed them up for what they weren't good at, then you raised your hand. I'll fight them. Now that Xander lost, it's the same old thing with you, bro. And I got to be honest, you might think that I'm taking shots at him. No, I'm just being critical. I'm not saying that Virgil sucks. I've never said that. The man has skills and he's a real threat. But I just can't avoid but noticing that every single time that it comes to your name and a big fight, you enter the witness protection program. Let's just keep it real. Virgil, bro, you're a powerful dude in the ring. I see your movement. I just would like to see you do it against the top guys. And stop this narrative that Virgil Ortiz is scared of the top guys. So in Virgil's case, I want him to shut everyone up. And maybe if we fucking push back on him and let him know, hey, we're tired of this shit, Virgil. We're tired of it because the Mexican people, they only respect warriors. Virgil, you know how the Mexican dudes are, bro. Their standards are really high. Really high. They are a spoiled boxing race of boxers, bro. You understand? It won't let you in. Why? Hold on. Let me get over here. I didn't even have the chat up. I'm sorry, frontline. You in the building? Yeah. So like Virgil, bro, like Saul's on his way out. I don't think that Bam Bam Rodriguez can carry the torch. David the Monster Benavides is leading the way. Jaime Munguia is in threat. And Ryan Garcia is not far behind from one more performance than the Mexican people accepting that kid. Then you got Emilio Vargas. Emilio Vargas is making his rise. Then on top of that, right? Is it Sebastian Fundora half Mexican? Isn't he half Mexican? So like Virgil, there's too much Mexican talent out there that are actually taking the fights. David the Monster Benavides jumped up 25 pounds to fight Zurdo. The Mexican people they backing him. They backing him. And then Hunter Ben is out there talking shit about Ryan Garcia not being Mexican just because he's American. It don't matter. That shit don't matter, bro. We're on a new era. And the Mexicans are coming around, bro. And they like, man, fuck that, bro. If the kid is doing the right thing, well, we're gonna get behind him. Now Ryan's got a lot of dirt on his name. That would be up to them. I'm not gonna tell them who to back or what. That's on them. But I'm telling you right now, Virgil, it's bad enough. You don't speak the lingo. Virgil, you can't hold a conversation in the Latin tongue, Mexican tongue. So that's a strike, a big one. The way you talk, Bro, that's a big one. So you got all this shit on you, and then on top of that, you have the nerve to yell Mexican pride, but not taking the fights that the Mexicans are known for taking. They don't back down from shit. They don't back down from shit. Call one of them dudes on a fluke and think you're gonna walk over. Bro, they tough. On any given night, they tough. They can be beat like any style, of course. But Virgil, you got a big fucking Latin community behind you that you could get their garnish their support. And they're like, yo, man, they're looking for the next Saul. Saul's trying to pass the torch to Jaime Munguia. It didn't work though because of fucking what respectfully so though the monster Mexican monster did that night against Zurdo. He stole the night. He took the moment from Jaime. So I'm like, come on, Virgil. It might sound like I'm putting Virgil down or something. No, I'm critical on his ass, just like I am to a lot of boxers, because we want to see these fades straight up. You know what I mean? And listen, I'm not against Virgil versus Jerron Boots Ennis. No, I'm not. But a title shot is better than fighting Virgil. Am I right? I mean, dude, you guys agree with me? Just morally, if you're a fighter, bro, you can get a third belt rather than fighting a guy and giving him an opportunity at your belts, right? I got the chance to go up and fight for another belt, right? So fuck that. Like it, Virgil's more high risk, low reward right now. He put himself in a bad situation. And where the fuck is Josh Kelly after this fight? What's gonna happen after his fight? Because he's still gonna have a belt. And Jerron Boots Ennis' plans were what? To be undisputed. So he's chasing the belts. And Virgil's got to catch up now. The only way Virgil can cut in line, fight Josh Kelly after his fight. Get that belt. Then because I don't think you're gonna beat Sebastian Fundora to Jerron Boots Ennis. I don't think you're gonna do it. And I'm gonna tell you right now, for all you guys out there in the chat in the boxing world that think that that tall giraffe is gonna get chopped down by Jerron Boots Ennis, I'm not sure about that, guys. Yo, that dude, him, that guy right there, that's a problem. You ever see that movie, Long Survivor, where the four Navy SEAL guys were out there and they made a movie about it? And Mark Wahlberg was in the movie. And now these is like the highest trained soldiers. And in the movie, they described, damn, these boys is fast. And the other dude said, not faster than us. And after a couple minutes or seconds in the gunfight, he was like, they're faster than us. So what they realized when they was running down the hill, they all shot in the foot. The dude's fingers is blown off. They're all by the rock. Mark Wahlberg says, this is a problem. Now, this is a problem. We some bad motherfuckers, right? There's just too many of them. And they've been trained by our guys in Desert Storm, the fight before this one. So they knew how to move and then flip flops. And he recognized in the movie, although we bad motherfuckers, we Navy SEALs, we team six, baby, we team six. They're not supposed to be hunting us. And he was like, this is a problem. He knew right there, some of us is going to die, if not him. That's what he knew. That guy right there, that's a problem. That's a problem. You can joke about it all you want. You can look at Jerome Boots Ennis and his special effects and be like, oh, you all I see him is floating effortlessly around him and knocking this giraffe out. No. Just because Brian Mendoza did it doesn't mean Jerome Boots Ennis can do it. No, it doesn't. And just because he hits harder than Brian, that doesn't mean shit. Absolutely nothing when it comes to a fighter like Sebastian Fundora. If you think that getting in on the inside, which is the only way you're going to get to this guy, fighting Sebastian Fundora on the inside for Jerron Boots Ennis, yo, Jerron, good luck. This man started his career fighting in the inside. He fights better as an inside fighter than a long fighter. And now, of late, he's been fighting better and better behind his jab. He learned how to use it. He's a much more efficient fighter today than he was when he got knocked out by Brian Mendoza. And I mean it. Anybody in the division at the time would have fought one time Keith Thurman would have won option A, probably would have won the fight, or B, looked a lot better. He didn't look like he belonged in a boxing ring when Sebastian fought him. How many punches did Keith Thurman actually land in the fight? How many? Bro, that's a problem. He is listen, okay. Here's the law, nature. This is nature. And unfortunately, this is how life truly works. Let me explain. Floyd Mayweather, in his prime, is probably one of the greatest boxers of all time, right? Okay. But if you were to take Floyd Mayweather and you put him in the ring with Shaquille O'Neal, Shaquille O'Neal will knock Floyd the fuck out. He would bludgeon that man to death. It won't look pretty. It's going to look like real barbaric caveman shit. But the most skilled fighter in the world will not fare good against Shaquille O'Neal that has no skills. I put all my money on Shaquille O'Neal and make it him angry. Get Shaquille O'Neal rage, like if you're dangling his kid off a fucking cliff, and tell him to go in there and bash Floyd. Floyd doesn't have a chance. Now, does he? No, because the law of nature, when you are so much bigger than somebody, you don't really have to be all that skilled. Although I've seen countless of times the little guy knock out the big guy in YouTube videos, and it can happen. It can happen. You get me somebody, not like fucking baby Huey, with like absolutely nothing and not like a chin or nothing. And this guy's gonna bounce around you. I'm trying to tell you, that dude just grabbed Floyd, Shaquille O'Neal, and just bash him like that because I know Shaquille's athletic. I know not he's not like clumsy big. You know what I'm saying? Like clumsy big can get knocked out. But Shaquille's an athlete. Shaquille in his prime, he would have bashed Floyd's head off. It's just at a certain point, your skills are not gonna be able to show up. Bro, literally, there's gonna come a time in the fight with um Boots Ennis and Sebastian Fundora. And Boots Ennis is gonna run into the same puzzle everybody that fought Sebastian did. I dare you guys go back and watch every man that spoke about fighting Sebastian Fundora. You're gonna start to paint a picture of what it means like to fight a guy with an 80-inch arm reach. 80-inch arm reach. When he opens his hands like that, he's like He has a 7-foot span arm reach. He's like 3 inches off 7 feet. It's ridiculous. It is. Hold up. I don't know what's going on today, Frontline, but I forgot about putting the link in the thing. I threw the link in there. Why isn't it working? See if that one works right there. I'm gonna drop that one right there. So, yo, I think Jerron Boots Ennis is in for a long night. I think he has the skills to catch up to Sebastian Fundora. He does, Jerron Boots Ennis, and I think he cracks hard. But he might have to weather a little bit of a storm. It's gonna take him a few rounds to try to figure him out. But the one thing that Jerron Boots Ennis got is a good burst, athletic, and a great waist. He can lure Sebastian Fundora in a lot of good exchanges, and he could win these exchanges. Now, Sebastian Fundora's got a long uppercut, and it's mean. It's mean. He runs it up the middle like boom, and it seems to hurt guys a lot, right? So Duran Buchanan's got a fucking decent uppercut his own, right? And he can sneak shots in the inside, but I think he's gonna be tricky to measure his distance and what he can do with Sebastian. I don't think that Sebastian's unbeatable, but he's definitely a problem. He's a huge problem because he doesn't have to be so skilled. He's not gonna look like Jerron Buchanan, but boy, I tell you, that jab and that 1-2, then he mixes it up with that uppercut. He can hit you from a long distance. Jerron Boots Ennis can be out there mid range and he can pop him with an uppercut like he did to one time Keith Thurman. One time Keith Thurman talked about it. He said, bro, he was like, see, because there's going to be places in a fight where you're going to be safe. You're going to be further enough from your guy, and there you can take a breath. You go and you breathe and you reset yourself. Keith Thurman talked about that. All my life, I boxed, and I know that if I get this far away from you and I'm right here, you can't hit me. What happened? How? How? He was like, what the bro? He couldn't believe how much distance Sebastian covered. Same thing that Lubin said. Same thing. Everybody that ever fought the man, they was like, well, except before there's Sebastian Fundora inside fighter, and then there's transition Sebastian Fundora using the jab. And I'm talking about the one using the jab now. That version of him. Those guys. And when like Keith Thurman, he was like, he couldn't figure it out. He couldn't figure it out. And I said this. I said, who the fuck is Keith Thurman gonna get to imitate Sebastian's 6'6" boxing ability? What are you gonna go get? A basketball player? You all you're gonna do is have his height, but you're not gonna imitate his boxing ability. And they were like, nah, they brought in this guy, they brought this guy in. And I was like, bro, that guy is not Sebastian Fundora. That guy, and they was like, no, Edwin, you're wrong. I said, listen, if you can find a kid that can imitate Sebastian Fundora to spar against, as soon as you're done sparring with him, sign him. Sign him. Because that right there, my friends, he's unique. When's the last time you seen a 6'6", 154-pound champion? I'll wait. When's the last time you seen that? And you think that, oh no, you know what? Why don't we call Jerron Boots Ennis a phenom? And that'll wipe up all the worry, all the concern. We'll look right past his 6'6", long, skinny frame. Flacco ain't doing shit. Okay, go that route if you want to. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Believe that shit if you want to. Go ahead. All right. If Jerron Boots Ennis goes out there and starches him, that would be impressive. That would be impressive. That would start to build the legend of Jerron Boots Ennis. Now you start doing some shit like that. Now we start talking about you in some with some very skilled men's names. Go ahead and do some shit like that, Jerron Boots Ennis. You want your name sketched in the halls of the best fighters in the world? That's what you're gonna have to do. Starch him, get that belt from Josh Kelly, and knock out Virgil Ortiz. And brother, let me tell you, I don't think they can deny you then, Jerron Boots Ennis. I don't think they could deny you. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be some shit. Xander didn't move around. Why? I don't understand the front line. Xander didn't move around. Why? Xander first he tried to out he boxed with Jerron Boots Ennis in the first round. When Jerron Boots Ennis hit him in the first round, he shocked Xander too, but he also stiffened his legs up. Xander's legs were okay in the first, second round, third round. They were okay. He was like fighting the effects off. They weren't. It wasn't as bad as like AJ yet. But when he suffered the second knockdown in the fight, that he staggered against the ropes, his legs were gone. His legs were gone. And Deron Boots Ennis picked up on it. And he started punching with confidence because he knew Xander was going to be right there. As far as Xander's, everybody's saying he had the wrong approach. And I beg to differ. I stand on this. What approach would Xander have taken that would have changed the outcome of the fight? And I challenge anybody to come up here and explain that to me. That would have got him victory. The only thing that would have did was prolong it and gave him a bigger and longer ass whooping. Yes, Xander could have survived the 12 rounds, but he wasn't there to survive. He was there to be great. And he stood in the pocket and he got right to it. Xander said they were like two Japanese swordsmen. They both jumped in the sky, bing, both landed, and one fell. That's what happened. I'll take 7 rounds of that than 24 rounds of bullshit. There is no version of the fight that Xander could have came in and beat Jerron Boots Ennis. Why? There's levels to this. And Jerron Boots Ennis is on a different level. Understand that. That's why most of the world said that Xander wasn't ready for this fight, and Jerron proved it. Period. There's no excuse. There's no version of, oh no, Xander had the wrong approach. Bullshit. That was his best option. He wasn't faster than Jerron. He didn't have a better jab. What the fuck you wanted him to do? Dance around like Karen? No. He's Puerto Rican. I'm sorry. He went right to it. That's how we get down. Either you're going to take me down, I'm going to take you down. Ain't no Tom and Jerry. Bro, who are you talking about? That's a Puerto Rican dude. We going right in the fire. Got dropped. But I'll tell you what we're not going to do. Run around for 24 rounds. What was better? What was better? There was no version of that. Duran was a better fighter, bro. That's it. That's it. He gave up front line? No, he didn't give up. You guys can try to force the renege all you want. No, he gave up. He gave up. If it makes you good, sleep better at night, you want to make fun of it. But I've already played it. The world has already seen it. I can play the fight right now. If it'll make you feel any better, we can go and relive the whole thing. I'll play the actual fight from the zone. I bought it while I was at the fight already. That's support. Put a couple more bucks in Xander's pocket. What'd you do? Steal it? Okay. I'm gonna tell you right now. I saw Xander getting his ass whooped in that 5th round. In the 6th round, he was doing okay, but he was running back. He didn't have no power on his punches. He was trying to recharge the battery. On the 6th round, the referee went over there. He told Xander, "Yo, Xander, I'm not gonna keep letting you take these punches." When Xander looked in the direction of his corner, he saw his trainer get up and start walking up to call the fight. What you saw was not Xander looking at his coach for a way out. He wasn't looking for a way out. What you saw was disappointment on his face. And you read it as him trying to exit. That's what you did. It was easy to try to persuade you because of his reaction. That reaction you saw on Xander, it wasn't a fighter trying to look for an out. He was on his knee. The guy was like 5. Xander was like, okay. He's waiting for him to get around 7, 8 so he can stand up. But when he saw his coach coming he looked like that. He knew his coach called the fight. Xander shook his head, man, in disbelief. He just lost both his belts. He just got outclassed. His night was over. The right realization of him losing had set in. And his coach saw enough. Xander, I saw enough. I told you, if I see you getting hurt anymore, yo, in the sense, Xander's coach saved him. You can say that. You can say that, and I have no argument. Xander's coach had to throw in the white towel and save him. Yeah, that's what happened. Xander didn't quit. Xander would have got up. He probably would have took a lot more damage. It's funny, right? When Devin Haney got knocked down by Ryan Garcia over and over and over again and kept getting up, he was awarded courage. When Xander was trying to get up over and over again and he got stopped in the middle of getting up, what is he, a quitter now? It's like playing spades and I threw out the wrong card and I took it back and you said, nah, 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 that's a renege. You're forcing it. Rather than what actually occurred, I was at the fight. I saw his coach get up, throw in the towel. Actually, not the towel like that per se, but you know, the phrase of the white flag. We called it quits. And the
Edwin,
referee
am I
turned,
in the
yeah, what
show?
up? Yeah, you're
What's
on the
good?
show. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's happening, man? Salute to
What's
you,
going
man.
on?
And salute the front line and everybody else in the chat. Man,
Yep.
I just wanted to say, man, I disagree, man, and hear me out,
Okay.
man.
I got you.
I think that Xander Zayas, when he first of all, when the fight first started, you know, and Xander Zayas got out there and he stood in front of Boots and started trading with Boots, I was like, what the hell is he doing, man? What is Xander doing, man? I think nobody expected Xander to come in there and try to stand in front of Boots. I think that was the worst thing that he could do because of the reasons that some of the reasons that you explained, that, you know, Boots had the faster hands, Boots was the harder puncher, you know, and stuff like that. You know, I think that that was the bad game plan right there. I thought that a better game plan would be to move around what most people expected him to do. And the reason why, I give my reasoning as this, you know, in the fight we saw Xander standing in front of Boots and Boots put him down early in the first round because him standing in front of Boots allows Boots to sit down on his punches. People were saying, "Oh, Boots is flat-footed. He is flat-footed, whatever." No, Boots was flat. He looked flat-footed because Xander was right there in front of him, and it allowed Boots to sit down on his punches and generate more power with his punches. Had Xander been moving around, Boots would have been. He wouldn't have been flat-footed. He would have had to, you know, follow Xander and stuff like that. And the punches that we saw Xander catch Boots with, he could have done that from moving around, you know, because when you moving around, you move around, you get the guy to follow you, you bait him in, and then you stop and you plant your feet and you throw your shots like that. And I think that's what with the shot that we saw that hurt Boots, it was when Xander was standing there in front of him, you know, but him moving back and getting Boots to move in, I think it would have had a better effect because Boots wouldn't have his feet planted and stuff like that prepared for it. You would be luring him in to walk him into something, you know. So I
Okay.
think Xander's best bet was to be on the move, lateral movement once Boots catches up to him, and you know, throw your shots when you're, you know, when you're walking them into it, you know. And I
Hmm.
think Xander would have lasted longer like that. We wouldn't have saw uh that knockdown in the first round. I don't believe if Xander was moving around, and that knockdown in the first round, I think that set the tone of the fight because Xander didn't have it mess with your legs and stuff when you get knocked down. So it made it harder for him to do what I think he was supposed to been doing from the beginning. And so I think that's probably one of the reasons why we saw Xander stand there the whole fight. But I think that one mistake of standing in front of him, in front of him in the beginning was the problem.
Okay. I'm not sure if you saw the fight again. You know what I mean? And I see that your angle and your approach. And I could see what you're talking about it being a longer fight. And I expressed that I felt that if Xander took that approach that you're talking about, it would have just stood to be a longer ass whooping. But what I disagree with you is that you see, Xander did do exactly what you're saying. Xander did try to bait him in. Xander was trying to box him in the first minute of the fight. If you have a chance, go back and watch the first minute of the fight. He was doing everything you were saying. What happened was Jerron Boots Ennis found his range so fast in the fight. It wasn't the initial first like jabs when I say that. It was this sequence in about like 15, 30 seconds in the round that Jerron Boots Ennis tagged him with three straight jabs. At that point, he had already found out his distance and his range. Now, the thing that you talk about the leg situation, that he couldn't move a little bit, like I was talking about, that made him turn into that fight. When you say that he could have fought different style, you're taking away the fact that he got hurt early. If even if he boxed him, he tried to box him in the first round. I mean, Xander was moving in the first round. He was shifting like this and everything. Duran Bucenis followed him. He spun Xander around, came around him, and hit him with three jabs in succession. And he realized, wait a minute, I can't even see these punches. See, Xander couldn't even do this because he was already hit. And he realized that Jerron Butsenis was levels above him. Now, Xander didn't come here to survive. Jerron Butsenis wasn't taking the bait, like you say. Oh, make him come to you. No. Jerron Butsenis started walking him down, doing like this. And then all of a sudden, he started to jab from here, from down here, where you can't see the jab, rather from up here. He switched up his style. So Xander knew he was fucked. Everything he was trying, oh, Boots, come in. He made him come in. Pop, 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 pop. Okay, I'm going to fight on the outside. Pop, 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 pop. Okay, I'm going in the inside. Boom, uppercut. He was fucked any way you cut it. Why? There's levels to this.
Yeah, yeah, but
There's no version you can come up with. No one can that says Xander would have beat
no,
Duran
but
Boots
but listen, I know you're going off because you're saying that Boots is faster. You know, he had the hand speed over him.
everything.
Timing beats speed, man.
I
Everybody
get
knows
it.
that timing beats speed.
That's
And
how he caught him in the third round.
walking him in was, you know, it's just about being first. When you're on the back foot and you got a person following you, you always had an opportunity to be first because the person don't know when you're gonna stop and go forward.
Hold up.
And
I
so
gotta play
that's
something
what
for
I'll be
you.
saying. Like I just don't like that. You know, I'm a Jerron Ennis fan. I'm a Boots
Yeah,
fan myself, being from Philadelphia and all of that. But Boots is not God, man. Boots is not
I know.
indestructible. He's not
No, he's
perfect.
not. He's not.
We
He's not.
saw Xander had some success. You know when Xander because Boots had Boots was looked like he was about to lunge in with a hook, but Xander beat him to the punch because Xander went straight down the pipe and his
He
punches got
timed
there
him.
first. Yeah, timing. And I'm it happened. We saw that happen.
Yeah,
I believe that he
I
could have,
saw it.
I mean, he could have created that again by being on the back foot. That's what Shakur is so that's what
Sharon
Shakur
started
is so
making
good.
adjustments. He
That's what
started making adjustments.
but
He
we
didn't.
didn't see
Xander
no,
couldn't hit him again.
we didn't see Xander try that. We saw Xander in front of him trading with him as if he was the power puncher.
Right,
And I think
and
that
then what you see with Jerron Boots Ennis is weights movement. He made Xander miss 3 punches in succession by just moving his waist, going like
but
that. Xander
keep
couldn't touch him.
you keep
What do you mean,
moving. Look,
hey?
you keep because at that point when he did that, Xander was on the front foot. I'm not saying attack him. I'm saying stay on the back foot. And I think that's when we see Xander at his best when he's on the back foot and somebody's trying to follow him.
He tried
And
everything, everything. He fought him
he
on the
didn't
back
try.
foot. He
He didn't
fought him
try that. I
on
didn't
the
see
front.
that.
Yes. Oh,
At the
we gotta
beginning of
play,
the
man.
fight,
They're
I
gonna
found
copyright
myself
me.
saying, "What the heck is he doing?" Because
I
he was
know.
in front of him.
You gotta go watch this fight again, brother. I recommend
I
it, man.
watched it a few times and I was like,
And
man,
I'm just saying, like, look, Xander showed real grit, and I think that the rounds were pretty closer than it wasn't like Jerron Boots Ennis went in there and completely starched him. I know that he didn't win many rounds, but I'm telling you that third and fourth round were Xander's best rounds. He fought the strongest there, but you can see in the sixth round when Xander took it off that he was just tapping Jerron, but he had like no power. By the sixth round, he done took all that away from him. He
I
haven't
mean,
been
if that's
absorbed.
what you believe,
So
I respect it, but I just want to say Boots is not invincible, bro.
no, he's
Like
not
Xander could
invincible.
Xander if Xander came in with the right game plan, I think he could have it could have been a closer
Hold
fight. It
on,
could have
brother.
went 12 rounds.
Yeah, let's
Most
just say
people
what it
expected it
was.
to be 12 round fight. I think it wasn't a 12 round fight because the approach that Xander had. That's simple. I just think that he should have came out on the back foot,
Look, I
and
agree
using
with you.
lateral movement. I
I
see
agree
people.
with you. I
The problem is people, people tend to frown upon that now because of this new generation. But that's boxing, man. That's the sweet science. That's the best part of boxing. You know what? Because that part of boxing is the part that picks apart the power puncher. It's the answer for the pressure fighter and all of that. In history,
Mhm.
we have seen the person who mastered the sweet science of lateral movement and hitting and not getting hit. We saw them always beat the puncher most times. Most in the majority of times we saw that person that
Yo, but
is boxing beat the puncher or
with
beat
respect,
the pressure fighter.
but check it out, Fly. But with respect, you're expressing a situation which I'm in agreement with you in. But Xander doesn't possess those skills to pull that approach off. You want Xander to fight a certain style. I don't think his boxing abilities would allow him. Now I'm in agreement with you on this. Yes, he could have lasted to 12 rounds. Yes, but he wasn't there to last 12 rounds and he wasn't there to survive. I respect his decision to stand there. Although it would have been a shorter night, yes. If you want my answer, could have Xander have made this a more interesting fight? And could he have created more situations that might have favored him? Yes. Yes. And could he have sparked magic off one of those situations? Maybe, right? But his approach was, you know what I'm saying? Let's get it on. So I'm not gonna shit on what he picked, him and his coach. That was the style that they picked. He got in trouble. And then when he got in trouble in that second knockdown, now there was no backing out. He had to stand in front of him. Jerron Boots Ennis saw that he couldn't move, and he just sat down on his punches and he started to chop Xander down. He had confidence that Xander couldn't get out of the way, and he was right. Xander was fucking standing there. He probably had fucking his leg was like shit, and that was the fight. But I'm not gonna sit here and be like, "Yo, Xander, bro, that approach was stupid." For what?
I
Just
mean,
for it to go
I'm not
longer?
saying tell him that,
Nah, I'm
but
like,
I'm just
okay.
saying just to acknowledge that I think that it was his game plan that was the biggest problem. I believe. Like when we saw Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney, and Ryan did what he did on 420. I think a part of that was Devin being crazy and being on the front foot against a guy who knocking you down repeatedly, but you're still on the front foot walking towards this guy. You're not
Mm-hmm.
boxing him like you usually fight. I just think when why the biggest fight of your career, arguably, why would you go in there and do something different than what you're used to doing? Why would you
Mm.
try something new on that biggest night? That's how I feel
Well,
about Xander. That's how I feel about Devin when he fought Ryan Garcia, even though Ryan cheated and all of that stuff. I mean, respectfully, man.
okay, let me answer that real
Xander will
quick
be
for
back,
you.
man.
Let me answer this for you, right? Okay, you said, why would you switch it up and change your approach in this fight when everything was working? Here's the problem. As a fighter, you think that they're studying tape on you. If you go out there thinking you're going to be the same fighter, well, they're studying that fighter. So the fighter comes out in his head and says, well, let me change up on my style. But when he fails in it, they gets a lot of criticism. Why didn't you fight your normal way? Right? Well, you would think that you and your coach would say, they're starting to study us because of the way you fight. There's too much tape on you. You got to start to switch it up. Then the
But
fighter
first, you
gets
got to
caught.
see if they can defeat your style first, though.
Sometimes, yeah, but every decision, that's like us sitting here comfortably saying, oh shit, we saw what would have worked and what not would have worked. The fucked up thing in his situation, he would have to find out in the moment that it's not working. And then he got hurt early. And now it puts you in situations you didn't really want to be in. You understand? So even when you thought to switch it up, now you're hurt. Now you're in a situation. Now your game plan's out the window. Now you're kind of fighting off instinct. You understand? So he got in a situation like that and he couldn't make the adjustments and it cost him. See, we could break this down right here comfortably. He should have took this approach, that approach. He only got one shot at it
Look, let me ask you this though,
and he was wrong.
Edwin. Let me ask you this: do you think that there's a way to beat Boots? Do you think that there's a way that
Absolutely.
Xander could have beat Boots?
Oh, no, 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 no. If Xander wasn't, listen, okay, if you were
Is
to put
Boots
Jerron
beatable?
Boots in it,
Is his style beatable? Do you think he's beatable?
100%, 100%, he's going to get knocked out eventually. Listen, leave
I mean,
Terrence Crawford alone.
hold on.
Leave him
Stay right
alone.
there. So stay right there. So I think that it's not logical to say that the best game plan was the one that didn't work. Knowing that Boots, just acknowledging that Boots is not invincible, then
Right.
logically the method that you
So
use that
next
didn't
man
work
up.
is not the
Next man
one.
up.
That's not the one.
Next next man up. Let's see if he could do that against Virgil. Let's see if he could do that against Sebastian Fundora. Let's find out. Because
Hey
I'm
man, I
not
got
sure he
Xander
beat
beating
Sebastian.
Virgil respectfully. I got Xander
Yes.
beating Virgil. I got
Yeah,
Xander beating Josh Kelly.
that's Xander. I'm
I don't
talking
know
about
about
Boots. I'm talking about Boots. I'm talking about Boots.
oh, you talking
Let's
about
see if
his style.
Boots. Yeah, yeah. Let's see if his style can beat Virgil. Let's see if his style can beat Sebastian Fundora. You're talking about his Boots
I feel like
style
Virgil will be an easier
unbeaten.
fight.
You think so? I think
Hmm.
Virgil. I think Virgil would listen for as good as. See. It's weird. Boxing's weird because triangle theories don't work. This is what I honestly think. This is funny. I think Xander can beat Virgil, but I think Virgil would be a tougher fight for Boots. The shots that Xander missed on that inside right there, I think Virgil would pick up on it. He has more.
But that style that Boots have, we saw that style give Virgil trouble. We saw Virgil get
I I I
dropped a
I
few
know.
times.
I
Now
know. I
think
know.
about
I
somebody
know
who's
that.
punching harder than that guy. I don't
I
think
know that.
Virgil.
I know that. But what I'm talking about is a sequence. There's a part of Duran Boots Ennis when he drops his hand like that and he starts going like this, where he gives you that like special effect
He's
uppercut
showboating when he
like
do that
that.
stuff though.
Yeah, when and he's doing this shit like this.
He's
Boom,
not
boom,
gonna
boom.
do that to Virgil. He only does that when he thinks he got you figured out and he's winning the fight. He's not
Okay,
gonna do that against Virgil.
okay. Check it out. Listen. He has these moments right where how Xander caught him. I just think in that moment, right there on the inside, right there, Virgil might be a bit more trickier. Now, as far as in the outside and controlling Virgil, he's gonna have to get there first. I think that Jerron Boots Ennis can nullify Virgil. He can make Virgil look really bad at times. But I do give, in a weird way, Virgil the inside fighting ability. In a weird way, I give it to Virgil that I think he could be a bit more successful. Now, when it comes to him and Xander,
Why? Because
the
his punching power.
no, not his punching power, his craftiness. I think the win and the wear, his timing is a bit more ahead of Xander's. Xander's more ferocious and technical ability. Xander's more boom, 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 boom. Virgil has a bit more patience. So take damage, things like this. He's looking for something. He's a bit more craftier in the inside. He can catch and hurt Jerron Boots Ennis. Now, in order for him to get there, that I'll have to see. Because Jerron Boots Ennis has so many weapons that before he gets there, but that's what I see. And then I think that Virgil style caters to Xander's. I think that would be a bad fight for him. Now, tricky enough, the only fighter I see stopping the hype train that is Jerron Boots Ennis is Sebastian. Sebastian, he's the only dude that is I really think he's a threat. Now, I'm not saying that Sebastian can beat him. That's got to be a 50-50 fight for me. Really. I don't think Sebastian Fedor is a better boxer, anything, but you don't need that when you got that much attributes.
I
When you
think
got an
once
eight,
Boost gets in this inside on him, like, he done.
wrong, wrong, wrong. Because you know what? If you go back and you watch Sebastian Fondora, that's his style. He started it the first half of his career never using a jab. He fought all those Mexicans on the inside. He's well known and famous for being criticized because he never used any of his attributes. He got
Yeah, but to
small.
be in there
He got
against somebody
small.
like if somebody like Virgil or Jerron Ennis get in there, I think the body's there.
I
You
thought,
got so
I
much
thought,
to punch. You
I
got so
thought
much to
one
punch
time
on.
Keith Thurman was gonna get in there. I
No,
thought he
Keith
was gonna
Thurman,
get in there.
not Keith Thurman, man. He not the one to do it.
Tim Zoo.
Tim Zoo was doing it. In the first fight, Tim Zoo was winning. He was starting to get to him, but I think that elbow, it was unfortunate that that elbow came down
Okay,
on the top of his head and split his wig, and
actually,
that changed the
that
fight.
saved him.
Yeah.
Actually, okay. First of all, right? As far as Kim Zoo's corner, that was a night at the Apollo. That was the worst display of cornering I've ever seen in my life. They should have stopped the fight in the second round and call it a DQ because they hadn't passed the fourth round and lived to fight another day. First of all, that's the first call they got wrong. Then their inexperience of closing a cut. They didn't have the glue. They were never going to stop the bleeding. No, but they would
Well,
have
because it
got
was
their
on the
fighter.
head. I think that it
Yeah,
was on the
you're not
top of
gonna
the head.
stop
Is
that. You're not
yeah.
gonna stop that. But you prayer and Vaseline was never gonna stop it.
They should have
Vaseline does
stopped the
not
fight,
stop
like you
bleeding.
said.
Like, yes, okay, so that's the first thing. Okay. Now, in a weird way, sometimes life gives you a moment, right? You can say, wow, that was bad luck or unfortunate, right? Maybe, maybe. Because actually, the cut that he suffered on his forehead made Tim Zoo, the fighter, brought the fighter out of him he would never bring out. That cut presented that he was going to lose the fight. He had blood in his eyes. He was about to lose his belt. It made him aggressive. It made him go after Sebastian Fondora. He broke Sebastian Fondora's nose. He was
Yeah.
going at Sebastian Fondora because he was a desperate man. He was
Hmm.
about to lose his belt in front of his whole country. He's never lost a fight in his life. He didn't know how to lose. So
Yeah. Right.
what that cut did in actuality was bring that intensity of a fighter that he needed in the second fight. In the second fight, he tried to box and be more
I think it
relaxed.
damaged them though, because he was
I
checking
know it
he was
damaged him,
checking it and he was checking like he thought he was bleeding again and stuff like that. You
right,
could tell it had a mental effect
right,
on him.
right, 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 right. You're 100 on that one, right? But if you take away that desperation that he had, you take away the ferociousness that that cut made him fight like, he was just going to be a bit more passive but dangerous fighter. And Sebastian picked him off without his
Yes, because
ferociousness.
I
You understand?
Tony was
Tim
on.
Tszyu
Hmm.
was causing him problems because he was a man that was about to lose his belt. He was a man fighting blind. He was a man that was eager, like, no, you're not going to take this all away from me. You take that away from him, and you didn't have a better fighter in Tim Tszyu. And he beat the shit out of Tim Tszyu so bad that he was touching his head thinking, am I bleeding again? Like,
Yeah,
eh,
I
eh,
think
eh,
that
eh,
first, I think that first one, that mental damage that came from that first fight when
no,
that
they should have
split came
never
out, it
allowed
was
Tim Tszyu
very
to make it
unfortunate.
there.
Yeah, it was
Bro, his
unfortunate,
coach,
man.
his corner, they dropped the ball, if you ask me. They should have stopped the fight the minute the cut happened. The
Hey,
second
man.
that cut happened, that's it. We're going, that's it. Nope. DQ. They
Hey,
had the right to
well,
do it.
always a pleasure, man. I appreciate you,
Yes,
man. Y'all smash the like
absolutely.
button. I gotta go though.
Yes, thank you for stopping by, brother.
No doubt. Salute.
All right. Hey, yo, my man on the panel, you came up here too, huh? Introduce yourself. Hello? You there, Chief? Quiet. Just gonna sit there. All right, let's read some of these chats. Yo, Frontline was why you ain't at work. And Raps, what's going on? What's going on? That's crazy. That's because we Puerto Ricans are built different. And then he put or cheat with Hamras. Who the fuck that fat? Oh, with the Mexican dude? Facts, we don't need steroids to compete. Yeah, nah, Puerto Ricans, we've never been fought in the history of boxing. Well, I think we're like the only country that never been caught for a banned substance ever in the history of boxing. Yeah. And the Subriel Matias one got laughed out and thrown out because he wasn't even over the threshold to be considered a cheater. So it was obviously a tainted substance. So still to this day, Puerto Rico still has their, like their thing where their fighters, they've never had to use performance enhancement drugs. Felix Trinidad never ever screamed, yeah, steroids. Nope. That dude was skinny as it tight. Even when he got fat, he still looked skinny somehow. Felix Trinidad. He, he ain't had a muscle rip, nothing. Like, yo, Felix he was all natural, like all all natural, baby. Not like some of these fighters, right? 2 months ago, they were looking fat. Just in 2 short months, these guys got abs. They're ripped like crazy. And America, like, never pays attention to that. What weight workout do you do in 2 months that you could turn into that? Have you ever done it in your life? Do any of you guys work out? Have you ever worked out for 2 months? Did you look like that? And you're going to say, oh, but you don't got a nutritionist, you don't got a trainer. Neither did half these dudes coming up. It's crazy sometimes for some of these dudes. Other guys you can see where, like, nah, this guy was always in the gym, always working, didn't blow up a lot, and he gets right back in shape. And you'll see a better version of him. Yeah, that's common. That's common. But some of these guys, I mean, they get big, like big, and they like announce a fight and shit. 1 month out from the fight, this guy's in fucking like this, like he, like bro, whatever you're taking, like give it to fat people because they're gonna get abs. Whatever you're doing, like that program, you should sell that shit because you're gonna make millions of dollars. Because whatever you guys are doing, like you can turn me from a couch potato to that in 2 months. Like it's crazy sometimes. But some guys, they are like athletes where they've been working on their body like that. And they're just some guys that are like specimens of men. They, especially the guys that were born with the physique and work out and take the supplements. Like you add on to what God already gave you. Fighters like Evander Holyfield, fighters like AJ. AJ is a freak of nature. You know what I'm saying? AJ, he truly is. Like you're not supposed to be that big with abs. You're really not. It's like defies the law of gravity. Like nah, you're not supposed to be that big like that. But then you got men like Evander Holyfield, bro. A lot of people criticized him and was like, that boy was juiced up to the gills and shit, right? But he might have, but I believe that he was also born like that. He had something to build off of. He had natural genetics on top of every, you know what I'm saying? That's like when you get, if he never would have did this stuff, he still would have looked amazing. He just, that shit helps you perform longer in the ring type shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, bro. Yeah, man. Pat Bondero. Oh, this is Pat Bondero. Yo, Pat Bondero, what's up, man? Pat Bondero. Hay que arreglarle. You gotta fix the mic. Pat, I can't hear you, baby. Hold up. Maybe in a weird way or something. Maybe it's Hawaiian. I don't know. I don't think so. Let me see. I'm gonna undo this, all of it. Pat Bandero. Oh no. You gotta connect your mic or something. He's probably let me see the oh shit, private chat's here. Maybe he's telling me something. I can't unmute. I can't unmute. It doesn't let me unmute. It won't let me unmute. Fuck. Really? I just had the guy freaking flyer up here and he was talking. It won't let you unmute. Hold on. Let me see if that's on my no, I got all your set. Let me check it. Microphone. Let me see. Okay. Oh, let's go here. Uh nah, bro. I'm not sure, Pep Bandero. Let me see. I'm trying to see if it's anything on my end. Um wow. Sometimes this system, I've been having problems with this system. What's up? You got another chat? Don't you need to give me permission? Don't I need to give you permission to talk? Do I got it on a setting like that? Hold on. Let me see. Edit name and profile title, camera, microphone, hide camera, and keep audio. Uh hide camera, keep audio. No, I got you like hide camera, keep audio type settings shit. You know what I'm saying? Now we pressing shit we should be pressing. Hold on, I got you. All right, we're gonna take that back off. Take that up. Bring that up. Yo, brother, I'm trying to tell you something. Give you permission. Remove guests, edited titles. Brother, nah, I don't think it works like that here. Like, like the waving on the boxing voice. Nah, it don't work like that. You hop on, you talk. I've never given permission to anybody. It's on your end. Trust me, brother. You got to figure it out. You got to figure out how to unmute your mic. If you have like a Bluetooth, you might have to take that off. I'm not sure. Hold on. Hold on. You might be right. I have one more thing. Gas can control all. Nah, I'm not sure about that shit. All right, hold on, brother. Hmm. See if you could turn on your mic now. Pat, I don't know what to tell you, banderos. I will try again. I just wanted to say that round two, Xander adjusted. Um, I think that in round two, yeah, he was making, other adjustments, but I think that Xander Babandero was also, um, you ever hear the expression that the fighter in front of you makes you forget what you were in there doing? Like you got a game plan and you were trying to execute it, but what you were doing wasn't working. The guy in front of you was starting to be tricky and he's starting to catch you with shots. So now you become a bit more defensive, right? And you don't have confidence in your distance to throw your punch. He's got you missing. So now you start to second guess yourself. Then you remember, no, let me execute my game plan. And in the mix of all this, you got to keep your shit together. I think that Xander learned a lot in this fight. I think that Jerron Boots Ennis taught him a very, very valuable boxing lesson. I think that Xander can walk away from this experience not looking like he failed because this doesn't fail his career. You had a moment, a bump in the road. Now you go on from here. Where Xander goes on from here, you know, um, look, there's a lot of guys he could try to fight. There's a lot of guys at 162. Two guys that come into mind is Carlos Adames, right? And I would think that Laura. Laura is a vet though. He might be up there in age, what he lost on like speed, youth. He's got experience. I think Laura would be the harder fight for Xander right away at 160. Carlos Adames has been rumored to go up to 168, but they still have him down as the 160 WBC champion. So I just want to know, is he going to honor the belt? Because I think Carlos has been struggling to make 160. I really don't think Carlos Adames can make 160 comfortably anymore. And I think he's kind of a sitting duck for Xander, if, I'm being honest. And then there's the vacant IBF. What was that? Babandero? Okay, I got you. I will try again. I read that. But also, Boots had some something for in the face that Xander tried to give him to get him. That is when the uppercut was ready for him. You remember, boys say if he comes, use the whip. That whip was the uppercut. Yeah, yeah. I did went back and watch that too when Bozy said that to him. And Boots also improved on cutting the ring off. Watch it in round 6 and 7. No, not necessarily. Not necessarily he improved in cutting the ring off. What he saw was a fighter with no legs. He saw that Xander couldn't move and couldn't follow him. When Xander was trying to get away from the punishment that Boots was putting on him, Boots literally just walked him down. He just started walking towards him. He forced Xander into the high guard and stood in front of him and fired away. Xander was a sitting duck at that moment. You see, the tricky thing when your legs go, your mind tells you that you're okay, but your legs do those awkward like movements. So you don't have confidence in your leg, and you realize that in that moment, if you try anything slick with your legs, you might stagger or wobble like AJ did, right? So you don't want to do that in front of a fighter like Jerron Boots Ennis. He's gonna see it. Oh shit, you don't got no legs. You're done. At some point, Jerron caught on to that. That's when he really started sitting down in his punches. That's when Xander, all he could do was like this and go like that. He was a beaten fighter by then. Literally, Xander had to take off round 6. That he was tap, 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 tap. There was nothing behind his punches. Round 7, he started trying to punch hard, and Duran punched harder, put him back down. That's when everything came to an end. A lot of people say, yeah, Xander could have took a different approach. Okay, I don't argue the fact that he could have survived 12 rounds. Yes, but I don't think he would have won the fight. If you're baking on the notion that maybe in the fact of making it longer, he could have created magic, there's a possibility that could happen. But there's another version. He could have took a lot more damage and still lost the fight. So take this kind of damage, take this kind of lesson, go for it early. You lost, learn from it. You don't need a boxing lesson how to be taught to survive 12 rounds. You know how to do that. You wanted to go in there and test yourself against the best, not survive against the best. See, there's a difference. So when you think about his approach, that was his approach. He didn't want to go in there and play it safe, wait or hope for a situation, wait on timing, be patient. Shit, you're talking about a seasoned fighter there. Doesn't have that kind of boxing experience. He never did. So why do you expect him to do something that a seasoned boxer would have done? Now you're moving the goalpost. You're treating him like he had the sense or the ability or the knowledge or the experience to do the things you're saying he should have done. He was never there. He was never that. Not yet. He will be. He'll get fights, more experience. He'll learn more. Yeah. But how could you expect him to fight like that if he's never been that? Excuses are like assholes. Everybody has one. I give him no excuse. I gotta judge him for what he was. My last caller wanted him to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Sounds good. I don't think Xander could ever do that. Not yet. You understand? There's a difference. I can't make this fighter in my head. Oh, he should have been better. He should have been. Bro, this is his level. It's it's good that you want to turn him into Sugar Ray Leonard in your head. Okay, that's not who Xander as a fighter is. So you got to deal and work with what you got. People talk about Xander should have used, yeah, mobility. Yeah, that's all they're saying. Um, Pat Bandero. That's it. They kept saying like lateral movement, the mobility, like you're saying, you know. But that would have just it would have just been a longer ass whooping. It probably would have been worse. You would have probably damaged your fighter worse. You have a 23-year-old young man that really hasn't put on muscle yet. He doesn't even have his man strength. and you put him in against a grown ass man that has his man strength, that's in his man strength prime with experience, and you put a 23-year-old guy, a young man, and you wonder why he lost with 23 fights and only 2 rounds with 12-round experience. You wonder why he lost or that he even had a chance. Brother, he wasn't going to make this weight anymore. I think he gave too much on the weight cut, Xander. He looked too depleted. I don't think he rehydrated it enough. I don't think he had enough skills. The deck was stacked against him, to tell you the truth. He didn't win. But you got a 23-year-old young man right there that's about to come into his man strength, that can fight like that has that warrior kind of spirit, has that kind of chin. Because I got to be honest with you, most guys that would have got hit with those shots that Xander got hit, they would have got knocked the fuck out by Boots Ennis. Xander got a fucking beard, bro. Boots Ennis hit him with a shot like this, and he kept his glove up. Remember when he did that? He hit him with everything. Boots Ennis thought he was gonna knock out Xander right there. With when Xander getting full, he was like, I guess I gotta keep boxing. Bro, I'm telling you, he hit Xander with some shots, he would have knocked dudes out. So Xander is, and he hasn't come into his man strength yet. Is that strong already? Xander's gonna be back, bro. He's gonna be back. Mark my words. And I guarantee you, him and Boots Ennis, their paths are gonna cross again. And to frequent flyer there, right? Come back and talk to me. Xander Boots Ennis 2 at 160. When Xander got his man strength and he's in a division where he doesn't have to cut a lot of weight and it won't hurt him. We'll fight again. We'll fight again. And I got my Gallo again in the fight. Let's see what time it is. Give Xander a little bit more experience too. I know Duran's going to get more better too, because you can't take that out of the equation. But I think he'll be better when he's a man and he got man strength. If he did that against Boots Ennis, a grown ass man with full strength, full power, against a young man like that, you had your time. Oh, we'll spin the block. We'll spin the block. And in the meantime, in between time, we got some guys we need to fight. Beck is one of the guys too. I'm not sure about that guy right away. I think that's the guy you're gonna want to go against is Beck. Xander. Beck is tricky, man. So I want you to get a little bit better, acclimated to the division. Really, make your way at 160. And we'll see where we go from there. I think right now in the sport of boxing, the best weight division in all of boxing right now, at least the one that's on fire right now, is 154. 154, we got some of the best fights coming up if they make the fights happen. You see, for as much shit as I talk about Virgil and how pissed I be because we fucking took the ass whooping you should have took. You know what I'm saying? It's like our guy jumped in front of the bullet for you. Now our guy's fucking shot on the ground, and you want me to what? Talk you up? Fuck you, bro. Like, nah, bro. I'm pissed. We lost 2 belts because of you. Virgil, because your ass didn't want to take the fight. So, but for as pissed as I am at the situation with Virgil, I can't deny he's a big player in the game. You can't ignore him. But you could ignore him. That's the fucked up thing. I got to take that back. He doesn't have any value right now. He has value in stock, like as a big name, undefeated. Uh, you know, a pretty decent following. In that sense, yes. But as far as belts, and he's a big ticket seller, and you're just high risk, low reward. You became that guy, Virgil. Now you're just him. And Jerron Boots Ennis technically doesn't have to fight him. He can go after the champions, and I wouldn't be mad at him. Then Virgil, like I said at the beginning of the show, he's gonna come out crying. They're ducking me. And here we go again. When you had the fights in your lap, you never took them. Then when the guy is past you and you're screaming, he never fought you. Same scenario every time, Ortiz, man. It's just getting old, brother. It really is. It's getting old. So, but, but, I said all of that to say this. Virgil is still interesting fight. It's still an interesting fight. I can't lie. I think Virgil on any given day, he could beat anybody at 154. When Virgil's on his game, he can beat any of those guys, but he can be beat. He can be beat. I think Sebastian Fundora can beat any of the guys there, but he can be beat. I think Jerron Boots Ennis is the most talented out of all of the fighters. He has flaws and holes, but I don't want the viewing audience to be misled when I say that Jerron Boots Ennis can be beat in his style. Somebody can catch up to his style. Here's the problem with a fighter like Jerron Boots Ennis, that when we talk about fighting, we say things about the fighter, but I don't think we fully comprehend it. When we say that Jerron Boots Ennis is athletic, that means that he can do some boxing mistakes and get away with it because of his athleticism. When you see holes in a fighter like Jerron Boots Ennis, and you're like, oh, right there in that moment, he's doing this wrong, I can capitalize. When you're in the ring with him, you realize it's not as easy, and why people haven't been able to do that. That's a trap. And you're the bait. He's got his face out like this over here, and you're like, when he does that to me, I'm going to hit him. And you soon realize there he is. No, he ain't. That move right there was a trap. And he's athletic enough to swing backwards and on you. And when he's sloppy with his footwork and you try to picture him, he quickly shifts. And you're like, oh shit, too late. That's the problem when you got great athletic fighters that know how to flow. Yes, we could sit here for hours breaking down all the mistakes he makes. So what? I don't care. Unless you can capitalize on his mistakes, then so what? You can sit here all day. He does this wrong, this wrong, that wrong. You're going to find out, just like Xander did, just like all the other fighters before. Yes, he does all these mistakes. Yes, why hasn't somebody knocked him out yet? Why? You're not adding what you're saying. You're admitting he's athletic, but you're not adding athleticism into the equation. You think he's going to be standing in front of these guys and the other guys are just going, and they're going to land. You're going to find out why they're not landing. Then you got to deal with that. And then Jerron is recording you. He's one of those types of fighters that is actually taking information. See, most boxing, when you learn that, you're just fighting. Then you're fighting off instincts. Then you're learning how to counterpunch. Then you're learning timing, distance, range, and how to fuck with speed and how to nullify power. Then you realize boxing's a dance, cause and effect. If I do this, it gets you to do this. I did this, you did this. Okay. Remember that. We're still fighting. He's pressuring. When he's pressuring, he likes to do this. Okay. Round goes by. Round goes by. Back to what I learned. I'm going to go this. There he is. Pow! It becomes a dance, an orchestrated, beautiful masterclass of violence. And you get right to it. When in the beginning, as a fighter, sometimes anxiety, nerves, the ability, having all the pressure, you're doing all this extra movement in the ring that is unnecessary, that's draining you slowly. You're doing all these extra steps, fainting out over here like Connor Ben. He was out on the outside from Regis Progress and he was doing all this. I was like, who the fuck is he fighting out there? The invisible guy? Why are you out there going like this? It was like 10 feet away from him. It was ridiculous. Like, and then when he got closer, he stopped all the movement. It didn't make sense. I was like, but when you're young, a younger fighter, you do a lot of shit, wasted you burn a lot of energy you're not supposed to. As you get older and more experienced, you get right to the point. You don't look as flashy, but you're real dangerous. Then you become Saul Canelo Alvarez. Saul in the beginning, he did a lot of movement, a lot of power. He showed his power. He had to until he became a master. Then it was just about time, and it was like slip. Wow, that's it. Very little movement, right to the point, effective instruction. A master. So you start to like develop as a fighter. Sometimes you're viewing these fighters and you're saying to yourself, this guy should have did this. But you say this. There's levels to this, but you're not acknowledging what levels actually mean. What does it mean to be on levels? You're a level above, a level, two levels above. What does that actually mean? So if you know the guy is levels above the other guy, you got to acknowledge that he wasn't on his level. That no matter what he did, what you were hoping on was a prayer. You're hoping on a prayer. Meanwhile, he's getting his head punched in. While you're going, I hope he lands a punch. The reality of it, he's getting his ass whooped. He's outgunned, outmatched, outspeed, outtime. The guys are smart, but his opponent is also smart. He wasn't going to win. So tell me on opinions that Xander fought that real well, tell me opponents that Xander fought that had real fast jabs. I don't have any in mind that had really fast jabs. His opponent, Bas Baru's jab was decent. He worked off of it. He kept it popping the entire 12 rounds. Abbas Baru never laid off his jab in the entire. He started the fight with his jab and he ended it with his jab. Abbas Baru. I'm not sure if it was fast. I mean, it wasn't slow, right? I think he had one of the best educated jabs. Xander fought that Mexican dude that was pretty fast too. He had a good jab. Now Chino Perez, that's not the Mexican dude I'm talking about. Xander fought several Mexican dudes, right? It's one earlier in his career, about midway point. There was a guy, I forget his name. He had a pretty decent jab, but no, Not like Jerron Boots Ennis's jab. Jerron Boots Ennis's jab, it's more like a utility jab as well. He can use a circle jab, a stabbing jab down to the body, and he has a stiff jab. He has a real stiff jab. Then he has a jab that he moves with. He'll triple it up, double it up. Duran Buchanan. So his jab was really good, and a lot of great coaches and people will tell you the jab is the key to the fight, to any fight. If you can control a person with your jab, you got a good part of the fight won. What you gotta, obviously block is when you start to get up on the scorecard. Like they say in boxing, right? I'll tell you who you are when the last 30 seconds of the 12th round, when they go clip and those last 30 seconds, because that's when the guy is gonna like, and especially if he's down on the cards, he's gonna sell out. He's gonna come at you and he's not gonna care about getting knocked out. If all night you worked off the jab and you get knocked out in the last round, David Morale. David Morale was working that jab, pop, pop, boxing. Where was David Morale's weakness at? He couldn't he played around with the pressure. He thought by being cool, oh, Pierre head way up there, like you're not gonna hit me. Clip. You didn't know how to deal with the pressure. When there's a desperate man coming at you like that, um, yeah, you got to know how to deal with that as well. So, yeah, you can have a great jab all night and everything, but once a guy decides to sell out, you got to know how to deal with that too, and um, it's just boxing's just so much. There's a lot in there, you know. What's up, Pat? Pat? Nah, champ. Abbas didn't have a. He was trying to use the jab to cut the ring, but his jab was not fast. No, yeah, it wasn't fast. It wasn't fast, but he did use it all night. That's what I said. Said, you were wanting me to explain somebody with the fastest jab. I really didn't have anybody like that with Xander. I think some of the American guys he fought, the black Americans, they were young in their career. They had okay jabs. They just didn't put it together. I mean, they were young. That's why. I don't know. I would have to get back to you on that to see who did Xander ever fight besides Jerron Boots Ennis. I don't think anybody had a kind of fucking jab. Now you want me to compare Jerron Boots Ennis jab to fucking, there's just no way. What the hell is this? What's up with Box Rec? Let me see. Hello? The fuck is going on here? All right, I'm gonna abandon that one. I'm gonna close that one out. Close this one and just open a new page. There we go. All right. Uh, let's see here. All right. So Spooner had a pretty decent jab. He did. The guy that was he fought that was trained by Roy Jones Jr., the white dude, he had a pretty decent jab. He had a pretty and it was pretty fast. I remember that. His wasn't bad. He had a pretty good jab there, bro. Yeah, he did actually. Sosa, Patrick, that was that was that Mexican dude, right? Remember when he knocked him out with one shot, he fake left, hit right when he spun off and he caught him fading out. Xander, that was him, right? Let me see his face. No, that was not him. That was not. This dude Patrick is Brazilian. He's a southpaw, so that was not him. So okay, but that Mexican dude, he didn't have a really good jab too. Ronald Cruz. What was Ronald Cruz? I can't remember. But anyway, I don't. Yeah, I don't. I don't think he fought anybody on that line with that kind of jab. Perez was very long. He had a very long jab. And then Perez threw it like this, like from the hip sometime. He threw it like that in an angle. He would throw it like that. But the problem with jabs sometimes at this level in the game, you got to be sharp with your jab because the common thing is to go over the jab and clip the guy on the top of the temple. So if your jab is not fast enough and you can't move with it, sometimes you don't want to throw the jab with the guy in front of you. You can get knocked out. I remember there was a fight with Abdullah Mason. It was like performed to perfect. The dude threw the jab. It was a lazy jab, mid lazy, but it was lazy enough that Abdullah timed him and knocked him out right over his jab. So, not necessarily, you got to know how to work with things. See, sometimes they tell you to double up on the jab, right, in boxing. But in situations, if you do it in the wrong, if you're in the wrong position, doubling up the jab can cost you. And you're doing what you were trained to do. But you gotta know, you gotta understand. That's why I always throw in that little phrase, the when and the where. The when and the where in a fight is very crucial, very important in situations. You can overextend in the situation and put yourself in a compromising situation where the other opponent can strike on you. You can be fighting but too tall and keep your chin too far in the sky. So there's situations in boxing that yes, the when and the where, when what not to do, when to do things, how to mix up your punches. When you hear Boots Ennis telling Jaron Boots Ennis to use the whip, that's that whipping uppercut on the inside and stuff like that. He's not telling Jaron Boots Ennis to do like I want you to do 2, 3, 4, and punch this and then dip this. He's not telling them to do that because they're at the point in their career where he doesn't have to try to coach Jaron Boots Ennis. He's just got to unleash him. Son, flow, do you. Whatever you see, I have trained you all this time. You know all your weapons. It's up to you to put them together. You're not like a fighter where I set you up there with a specific game plan. You go out there, I want you to do this, this, and this. He hasn't taken the training wheels off that fighter yet. You're developing him, but where Jerome Boutenis is, you're not telling him how to box. You're just telling him, yo, keep doing what you're doing. That's what you're usually gonna hear from a coach at that level. Go out there and dance, son. Show me what you got. You know what I'm saying? Like, so Jerron Boutenis got the keys to the car. He's gonna go out there and drive the way he knows how to. And his dad just can say subtle things. I see this, or I see that, or you could throw that now, son. Like I see an opening, but he's allowing Jerron Boutenis to perform. He knows what he's doing. Yeah. So he was just a much better fighter further in his career. That's all you saw. You saw experience beat inexperience. That's all you saw. That's what happened. Eventually, Xander will catch up to him again. Outcome could be the same. Maybe. This looks bad for Xander right now. Maybe. Maybe. Let's see who gets the last laugh. Time will tell. Time will tell. To this date, I still feel Xander is one of the best at long range. This is why I got him beating Virgil. That's what I said. It was funny that uh I was saying Virgil would do better with Jerron Boots Ennis than Xander did because Xander's approach was more, let's get it on. Virgil will be a bit more smarter because of what he saw, right? So the ass whooping that Xander took is actually going to help Virgil in their meeting. But if you was to put Virgil Ortiz and against Xander, I think Xander beats him. He might stop Virgil. He just might. Remember, Virgil has also been knocked down twice in a fight, still came out on top. I don't know how that happened, but you can get dropped twice in a fight and still, man, listen. And it wasn't like he was wiping this dude down. Like literally, like the first time I saw Juanita Lopez go down, the son in Puerto Rico, he went down in the first round. It was a 4-round fight. If you knocked someone down in a 4-round fight, you won the fight, bro. You won the fight. What he would have to do is actually win the next 3 rounds in a row. You already won the first round. Just win, squeeze out like one, a tight one. And there's no way they can beat you. Well, Juanita proved that to be like that. He went down in the first round, and sure enough, he won the next 3 rounds straight. Like convincingly. Like yep, you won that round. Yep, you won that round. Yep, you won that round. That's how it would have to be. You go down twice in a 10-round fight, 2 times. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I know Virgil can get dropped. He can get clipped. So I don't know. Funny enough, I kind of see him. You see, because I don't think Virgil got nothing for Jerron Boots Ennis on the outside. If he tries that outside approach, he's done. It's just gonna be a slow fucking roasting. That's all it's gonna be. You'll have a couple moments. The Mexican fans will go, but it'll just be a beating. He can't. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see him fighting off the or enticing Jerron Butenis coming in like Xander did. Xander was um and Tim Bradley, I went back and watched the fight, and Tim Bradley was like, why is Xander attacking Jerron Butenis and not allowing Jerron Butenis to come forward? That motherfucker, bro, he act like he didn't just watch the first minute of the fight. Were you not paying attention when he did that? Like Xander tried to and he was just too fast. Xander said, "Oh shit, I can't fight. No, I can't be on the back foot with this guy. I got to put him pressure." What did his coach keep telling him? Push him back. Don't let fight off your back foot and let Jerron. You're not gonna beat him. But yet, people like Why doesn't Xander let him? He did that. It didn't work out for him. That shit was not working. Bro, just admit it. Xander wasn't ready for him now. Not now. I'm not saying he won't never be ready for him. Yeah, maybe at 160. Definitely get your man strength, better division. Don't be so weight depleted. Yeah, I could see a version where Xander could possibly get that leg back on Jerron Boots Ennis. I haven't counted Xander out. He's a great student. He learns really fast. Just think about it. How the hell did a 16-year-old kid be top ranks, youngest signed fighter, right? Out of all the fighters top rank signed, they took one look at him and said, signed 16. Before the fight finished with Jerron Boots Ennis, he was already signed to a new fight deal. They said you can lose if you lose the fight. Guess what? We want you for 5 more fights. Either way, we're signing you for why? They know what they have. If that kid is doing that, 2 belts by 23, no man strength, and you're doing that, what do you think you have? You think you're wasting your time? Name me anybody else that's doing shit like this. Abdullah Mason, I'm sorry, brother, you look like a kid in the ring with a man right now. Abdullah Mason literally looks 17 years old to me. I can't look at him in another way. He just, I'm a father and maybe I talk like this because of my dad, but he looks like a baby. Abdullah, bro, and another thing, talk about Jerron Boots Ennis' beard. Fuck that. Dave Bell's beard, bro. I'm asking for it. Let's start. I'm gonna start a movement, a campaign. Bro, tell me that doesn't add protection and a false sense of where his beard actually is, right? What if Bell is one of those dudes and he has like a long freaky beard, a chin. It's like this and it curves. You wouldn't know that because it's hiding. What if he has a small chin and and you shave that off and his chin's like this big? You got a little chin, right? You're not gonna know that because you're gonna be punching the beard and it's gonna be going, and the beard just gonna be going like this. And there's cushion there. He has a lot of beard. If his beard is way bigger than Jerron Putenis's beard, at least you could see more or less where his chin was. But Albert Bell, no, 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 no. Make him shave it. Take that off. You don't got to shave the whole thing, right? But give me this much from your chin. I'll allow like you can keep like that much. But you can't keep this shit, this Santa Claus shit that he got going on. Nah, bro. Nah. Yo, Abdullah Mason, bro. Protest to shave his beard, bro. It's only fair. Nah, that's cheating. Nah, fuck that. That's cheating. Bro, his beard is like, where's his chin? You gonna tell me you could definitely see that man's chin under that? Bullshit. All I saw were black glasses and a beard like that big, bro. Fuck that, bro. Say, I don't care how cool you look. You want a box? You want your payday? Yeah, take that shit off. Oh, nah, bro. Mm-mm. I'm writing the commission on that one. You can see Abdullah's chin right there. That young ass face. So if my chin is out there for you to see, it should only be right. Nah, fuck that. I'm protesting. Shave Albert Bell's beard. Shave Albert Bell's beard. Shave the beard. Fuck that, bro. Abdullah. Nah, bro. I'm for real. And I'm not even joking. Like, you can't see the man's chin. What would I know if his chin is long or short? What am I supposed to guess? Mm-mm. For all the money they're paying you, Albert Bell, you can buy some hair products and things like that and grow it back. That'll be your new challenge. But for this fight right here, for the title, nah, nah. And I'm not even fucking being funny or hating on him. That beard's gotta go, bro. Fuck that. Frontline, where you at? What? We got more champions. Two paper champions when y'all getting a middleweight championship. What you mean? We just had a middleweight championship, dumbass. We just lost it. Xander. What are you talking about? When are we getting a middleweight champion? We just lost the belt a couple days ago. Fuck are you talking about? We were unified. And you're calling what? Oscar Collazo and Rene Chulo Santiago paper champions? Did you say that? Bro, didn't he just smash your Mexican fighters? Stop it. Stop it. We will have more champions. Um, yeah, we're about to beat out the Mexicans. We're gonna beat them out. Jaime Munguia got a gift wrap belt that he would never have if it wasn't for the fact that Terrence Crawford threw all the Infinity Stones back into the pond and he released the clutches that 168 Canelo had. So they better be thankful for that because I don't think none of those guys would ever become a world champion. Not Jaime, not and Billy, definitely Hamza Shiraz because he was gonna be high risk, low reward, and they weren't gonna fight him. So a lot of these guys would have never become world champion had it not been for Terrence Crawford. He set the division free. So, you know what I mean? Stop it. But we're gonna have stronger champions. You guys might have champions that are brief moment champions. They're gonna be Mexican champions that got the belt and like they're gonna lose it like in the first title defense. They got those kind of champions right now, the Mexicans. You don't got no fucking except Bam Rodriguez and you guys don't claim them. So I really don't count them. Then you guys got David the Monster Benavides, where half of you claim him and the other half don't. So I'm not really sure where he lands right now. But he just became champion. But Jaime Munguia, he's gonna lose that belt like that. Watch. Jaime's not gonna. He's his first title defense. I bet you he loses that belt. Jaime, that belt's gonna be gone. There's something about Jaime. I don't know what it is. He's a good fighter, but he's a careless fighter. In the middle of the fight, he has these moments of lapness. Like he forgets where he's at. Yeah, like all of a sudden Jaime's doing great. He's like boxing, pop, 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 pop. Then all of a sudden he's flying a kite as a child in his head in the outfield. When Jaime, watch the ball. And Jaime's over here and the ball lands. That's Jaime Munguia. At some point he falls asleep in the fight. Gets knocked out. He does it a lot. He has like these mental lapses in the fight. I don't believe in him. I think he's gonna lose that belt. Watch fast. Um, there are a lot of Mexican champ, and then there's the never was, like the Virgils should have been champion, got the skills to be a champion, but never was champion. At least Xander can say he was a champion in that weight division. Not Virgil. Virgil can't say that too much. Not yet. But Xander can. Xander can. So yeah, we're gonna have stronger champions. We're gonna have champions that last longer. We're going to. Yeah. Yeah. Because that wave coming up of those young Puerto Rican fighters, man, watch. Watch when uh fighters like I think the son has he's gonna be one of the ones that passes his father. Um Juanita Lopez. I think he's got the potential to pass his father. That's one of the fewest times I've ever seen the son pass the father. And the father had to be a world champion. And I've seen situations where the son passed the father, but the father was never a world champion. You understand? So, see, because Floyd's father was never a world champion, I don't think. His father. So Floyd Mayweather passed his father, but his father was never now Juanita's father's has two belts. So in order to beat your father, you would have to pass that. I don't know too many father and sons where that the father was a world champion, an official world champion, and that the son did better than the father. Like Julio Cesar Chavez's son did not pass his dad. You know what I mean? Um, Hector Camacho Jr. didn't pass his father. Evander Holyfield's son definitely didn't even do. After he got knocked out, I ain't heard none since from him. He's nowhere near his dad. Uh, yeah, anyway, his father was never pro. I've had this conversation before, like, and I think actually Juanita has son has a good chance on passing the father in accomplishments. Yeah. So I like the Puerto Rican dudes that are coming up, and especially Keith Cologne. Keith Cologne is another one. Watch, we gonna have strong champions. Watch, you'll see, you'll see. And Bam Bam Rodriguez is about to get scraped up by that Japanese dude. So just wait, just wait. You guys are rushing Bam Bam Jesse Rodriguez into this fight. I don't like it. I don't want the fight for Jesse. Mm-mm. If it ain't right and it ain't fair, and you're not giving the Mexican dude the right amount of time to get acclimated to the division to properly fight that Japanese dude, then I'm not with the fight. I'm not with it. I just I talk a lot of shit, but I'm real big on equality, being fair. Beat me at my best. That's all I ask. Just beat me at my best. Don't get me a weight claw. Don't drain me out. Don't wait, age me out. Fight me in my prime. That's what we wanted. That type shit. And I don't think that the fight would be fair. I think that it was obvious Bam Rodriguez struggled moving up one weight division, and he hasn't even gotten to Naoya Inoue's weight yet. He still would have to go up. If you're struggling there, what makes me think that the fight's going to be fair? One more weight up. You're even going to be more. And you're coming up against arguably one of the best fighters we have in our era. Then when he loses, you want me to give Naoya Inoue full credit for beating just no, he would have beaten a fucking o- overweight fucking drain like fat version, slow, full of water and shit version of Jesse, you wouldn't have beaten the best version of Jesse Bam Rodriguez. That's all I'm saying. In a good world, if Naoya Inoue would shrink, which that's never gonna happen. That's fantasy talk. Once Naoya Inoue went up, he's never coming down. Yeah, that'll never happen. So he would have to chase him up there. But I would like, and that's gonna take a little time. It's gonna take a little time. So I rather would wait for the time and have him fight Naoya Inoue on the way out of his career than like what they're talking. I just think it's too fast, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I mean, if I go and I watch the fight and it happens and I see Jesse Bam Rodriguez actually moving in the first round fairly well and he's doing his thing and stuff, and I'm just like, Naoya Inoue catches him or beats him, then he just beat him. We knew who the better fighter was. That's it. But Jesse had a lot of problems against Hernandez. He was getting too hit too easy by that Mexican dude. Hernandez, I mean, not Hernandez. I'm sorry. That's the guy that Junto fought. My bag. My bag. I got them two confused for a second. I'm talking about the guy that Jesse Bam Rodriguez fought that he went down a lot in his career. When you go watch him fight, he's been down multiple, multiple fights. Then Bam Rodriguez described that he was feeling his punching power. Then Bam put him down. But it's not like this guy hasn't had a history of going down in fights. Bam struggled with him. He struggled to put the power on him. The guy's power was a bit too much. And then Bam finally caught up to him and put him away. But if I had to ask myself and be honest, let's say you get Naoya Inoue at 118 and you put him in the ring with that dude. Does he last that long with Naoya Inoue? I don't know. I don't think he makes it out the first round. And I'm being honest. He doesn't make it out that first round with not with no Naoya Inoue at 118. Fuck no. That that's probably his best weight division. Naoya Inoue at 118. There's no one on earth that can beat him at 118. That's just like that's where he came full circle. You're not beating Naoya Inoue at 115, 118. No one was. It's just not going to happen. He was like the Terrence Crawford of that divisions. He moved up to 122. He started getting more vulnerable, started fighting bigger guys, bigger punchers, and he's not that big. He's stretching himself out. And these guys can crack. They put him down twice in that division. I think he's maxed out. Shit, he came from 108. So Bam Rodriguez, man, I love the fight. Yeah, I just want it to be fair. That's it. I talk shit, Mexican, Puerto Rican. We all throw jabs at each other, but I'm not gonna let them fucking screw my fucking cousins, the Mexicans. Nah, fuck that. I got love for Mexico. Fuck that, bro. Nah, you guys ain't doing them dirty on my watch. Trying to call it an even fight just because I like Naoya Inoue. Fuck that, bro. Nah, you guys ain't gonna fucking side swipe my cousins, and I'm just gonna sit here as a Latin man and sell it to you like a real. Oh yeah, let's fuck you. I'm not selling out, man. You got to do it even. You're gonna have to give that Mexican dude his time to prepare. Nah, fuck that. I like to talk shit and take shots at all my Latin brothers, but to sit back there and tell you, "Nah, I'll take the land side first. Nah, 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 nah. I'm not gonna. No, like we gotta be fair. Like if they did that to Naoya anyway, and they were like, "Yo, go fight Tank Davis," don't you do that, Naoya anyway. Run up there and fight Tank. The Americans are setting you up. I just, I'm gonna call it like I see it. Nah, I'm not gonna let these guys cheat. Fuck that. I think Bam's a great fighter. They're just rushing him into a fight. I'm not sure he can win like that under those circumstances. I don't think he wins. But if you gave Bam the right time to prepare, we got ourselves a fight. In a good world, hypothetically, give me Bam Rodriguez at 115 and give me Naoya Inoue at 115. Let's find out. Now we're talking. Here it is. Now we're talking. I would have loved to seen that. Now that, my friends, that would have been a great fight that never happened. We missed one. That's one we probably missed. Out of some of the best fights we would have ever seen in our lives, yeah. Give me Bam Rodriguez at 115 and Naoya Inoue at 115. Now that, my friends, that would have been something to watch. That's something to write home. Dear mom, yes, man, I saw the most amazing shit I've ever seen. That's a fight you write home to. That's one of them. That's a cookout fight right there. I invite my family to my house to watch that fight. Yeah. I would want my brothers and everybody to come witness this shit. Like that would be a fight. Like, bro, you where you gonna be at when this fight go down? Bro, you need to watch this shit. That would be one of those fights. Yeah, that would be like, Hitman Hearns and fucking Marvelous Hagler type shit. I'm not sure if the round would jump off like that. Not in that sense. But the way the how big the fight would be, in that sense, yes. Not sure about how the fight took place. No, not like that, but yeah. You know what I'm saying? It would be definitely really a fight that people would be anticipating to watch. Would be that. Um yeah, fight fans. Yeah, man. What else you guys got to say? Oh shit, we got a super chat right here. Super chat in the building. What we got? Super chat. Stop crying. Move on. Puerto Rico. Matias. Sander. Rest in peace. He's got the little headstone. Here lies Xander and now shut the fuck up. Yo, uh man, both of them, they'll both be back. You'll be eating your words, all right? Mexicans get beat by gatekeepers. This dude's like, oh my God, every race does. You act like you said something. You almost said something. Not how many Mexicans been beat by gatekeepers? How many Puerto Ricans been beat? How many Russians? How many Japanese? How many French? How many fucking Mexicans? How, bro, you just described every nationality in all of boxing. Sometimes, how many times Dominican fighters get beat by gatekeepers? It happens everywhere. You didn't say anything relevant. That's just like cap right there when you say that about another country. Because what happens with their best Mexican fighters that don't get beat by gatekeepers and have all the belts? What happened with David? What happened with fucking Bam Bam Rodriguez? What happened with um Canelo Alvarez? What happened with Jaime Munguia? What happened? You know what I'm saying? Or so many Mexican champions right now. What the fuck are you talking about? They get beat by gatekeepers. Terrence Crawford is no gatekeeper. What? You can't say that. You can say that about any country. Just point out guys that you thought were good that lost. That doesn't, that works everywhere. No, you said nothing. Funny, he dropped him in round 1.
Round 1.
Shots fired. Shots fired, Mexico. So when I'm taking my shots later, you know how boxing works. You know how boxing works. One day you're up, then the next you're down. One day your guys are winning, and my guys are looking bad. But you know one thing you can't say? May can. Y'all didn't do it. It wasn't you that knocked us out. It wasn't Mexico. So when is Mexico going to finally get one on the Porter Rocks? When? Because right now you guys are looking bad. Really bad. Yo, son, how you doing? Where's your belts? Oh, shit, you ain't got none. Down bad, son. Yo, listen, but it wasn't you. You know who didn't take the fight? Mexicans. That's who didn't take the fight. Yeah. Who didn't have enough balls to get up and price himself out? Mexican. No, he's not a Mexican. He's a Mexican. He's a Mexican. Not a Mexican. Because if he was a Mexican, he would have took the fight. But he's a Mexican because he can't fight. You know?
He needs some milk.
Listen, Mexico. Funny. Have your laughs right now. You guys are laughing. Okay? You guys are laughing right now. It's all funny. Xander got whooped. Xander took the Puerto Rican knee. Xander this, Xander that. Have your applauses. Cheer. Just remember, we will have more boxing. Oh, yes, we will. Don't let Saul Canelo Alvarez get knocked out by Billy. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. What if it happens? Unlikely that it's going to happen. Iron Chin Saul. But I could dream. Yo, but if that happens, yo, you guys got a lot of Mexican dudes that are fucking hanging on, but you guys dare kick us while we're down? You're fucking cousins. We're Latino. You're gonna kick us while we're down? Fuck no. We wouldn't do it to you. Puerto Rico's down bad right now. What do you want me to do? Forget about it. You know, it's time to move on. You guys are talking about shit that happened a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. Let it go. This happened so long ago. I don't even remember the fight anymore. Xander versus Boots. That's yesterday's news. Let's move on to the horizon. I bet you would want to move on. Round 1. No, but we're not going to move on round 1. You have to take the crow. What's right is right. It's okay. Throw for me. Here. Throw for me. Throw for Frontline. Frontline right now, I called him. Right about now, he should be having lunch in the witness protection program. What's today? What's today? Is it Taco Tuesdays? He's probably having tacos and stuff or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like Frontline is like, you know, I drove by the witness protection program. I saw him peeking out the window. So eventually he'll come up here. Eventually, he'll show his face again. For some of us, that's why I told Frontline, yo, don't invest too much into this. This is gonna sting. It's gonna hurt. You see, I tell Frontline the difference between me and him is that I gotta report boxing. Like I like to get wrapped up in it. I like to run back and support. But that little fighter that I know you can't invest that. If you invest that much, you start to become like this crazy fan. Anybody say something about your boxer, you want to fight him and shit. And you've never even met this guy. You guys don't fucking go over each other's houses. You're not on his Christmas list. He doesn't buy your kids gifts, but you're ready to crash out for your favorite boxer. So that's when you have to realize that you got to push back a little. You could be a fan and everything, but I tell Frontline all the time, like, bro, you can't be invested like that. You got to go into the fight expecting to lose, to win, but it's gonna hurt a lot. I think the last fighter I ever actually cried for, and I share this with you guys, was when Mike Tyson got knocked out by Buster Douglas. Actually, no. Well, one fight I was really scared. I can't remember if I cried or not. Was Hector Camacho versus Edwin Rosario. I remember watching that fight with my family. It was the reactions on their faces. I was young. I was like I don't know, like 10, 12, somewhere around there or something like that. I remember. Yeah, but Mike Tyson, yeah. So that's why I told Frontline, bro, that if you invest yourself that much, like I want to see the legacy of a Puerto Rican fighter achieve some shit, right? Okay. And I'm behind it. I'm all for that. But to be that invested in a fighter that if he loses, like it like kills my day or knocks out I can't even get out of bed for 2 or 3 days. Nah, nah. The second Xander lost, I was like, good, I'll see you on the next fight, kid. On to the next. It was just I move like that because I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I report boxing. I'm in it for different reasons. The intricate parts, the legacy. I want to meet these fighters, and this is what I'm choosing to do. This is not my hobby. This is not what I do for a hobby. I'm doing this. That's it. So, in order to do so, I want to meet them all. I really shouldn't have a favorite. You know what I mean? So that's why I do it. But I love to be a fan. I love to get involved sometimes in some fights and get behind there with you guys and be like, yeah, like let's cheer for this guy. Yeah, what's wrong with that? What the fuck is wrong with that? But then there's not every fight I'm gonna do that. I gotta get back to covering. Like round one, get the fuck back over here and call these fights and let's talk about this and do that. That's what I'm in it for. Every now and then, I like to get involved in a fight and mix it up with you guys, but never read too much into that because you should know round one, it's on to the next fight for that guy. I don't. I'm not emotionally tied. Nah, nah, nah. That's why I'm on here with a smile. Xander lost. Okay. All right. Fuck that, bro. So listen, no, I just that's it's all up to you how far you want to go. Who am I to tell you? You should just know yourself though, and if you see yourself getting to a certain place with your fighter, like if you start to see you get aggravated at everything, maybe it's time to push back a little, just a little, you know, just to save yourself. Like I'm trying to tell you, Sabir Matias lost. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to throw him under the bus. But one of my close, he was a close friend or whatever, right? Uh, that dude didn't get out of bed, bro. He didn't want to talk for like the first 3, 4 days. He like he took that way too hard. I was like, bro, you act like Subir Matias. They said he died yesterday. You might as well have. I was like, bro, you're a little too invested, man. That's too much. Yeah, fuck, it sucks. He lost. Yeah, but are you okay? Nah, I can't do that. I can't do that. But anyway, fight fans, that's what I choose to do. This is how you choose to be a fan. Have at it. Me, I'm building a brand, Round One Sports Talk. And I plan on doing this for as long as God allows me to do it. And I hope to get better at breaking down things, analytics. I need a lot of work on a lot of things. Shit, one dude gave me shit about saying the word X. I asked him like I asked. Speak proper grammar, damn it. Are you serious? Bro, I better fucking figure out how to pronounce these people names correctly. Besides saying the word X, I asked him a question. It's X, right? Right? So you like grow up, learn how to speak. You watch my show to make sure I have the proper per, pronunciation on words rather than what I talk about in boxing. You're more concerned about how I pronounce a word. That if I don't pronounce a word correctly, then that must mean what in your head? How does the mispronunciation or mispronouncing or putting a word that doesn't belong in a sentence say to you, you should stop listening to that guy? I learned in life, sometimes I see somebody and I say, you know what? There's just nothing I can learn from this guy. This guy is dumb as hell. And one day, this dude either does something or says something that leaves me like this. I never saw it like that. Then you realize you can learn from anyone. But if you allow simple things to deter you from learning or catching the message, who's the dumb one? You don't know how to stick in and study things? Your attention span is only to what you okay. You might be a person in your life that get easily blindsided because in order to understand things in life, you're gonna have to figure out why dumb people do dumb shit and why smart people do smart shit. It's good to study a little of the both. Anyway, fight fans, have at it. Thank you for tuning in here at another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am always your host, Edwin, where the war fights start. People,
Round one.
I'm glad that you guys were able to uh tune in and I gave you a great show, and please do me a favor and hit that like button, and like always I'm on to the next one, and I hope you I gave you something interesting to do and fill some of your day and your time, whether you're at work or maybe at home, you know And I'm just proud to do that. Thank you. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to do so, tuning in and watching me. On to the next one. I'll see you guys tonight. Maybe Frontline will get out of the witness protection program. Maybe we could talk them up. Put it in the chats. When you want front